you're doing well. You had a nice weekend. I had a sore throat over the weekend, but I'm feeling a bit better today. It's UK Bank Holiday, and also my ISP, Virgin Broadband, are doing maintenance work. So I don't know if they're going to cut my internet off. So I'm going to try and make this video quite quick, and in case they do. I mean, they should probably give me some notification that they're going to cut the internet, but I don't know. Right, so we were risk on. We flipped last week, and we can just look at the indices. You know, we flipped. If we go to US 30, you know, we had that heads up on, you know, that we flipped the risk, right? So we had that notification that we were going to be risk on from the risk calculation. So that's how you use this data. When we went below zero, it told us that they were net short. If they're selling, price should go up because they're counter trend and they're emotional. And there needs to be someone else to take the other side of that trade. So if the retail guys are selling, then, you know, the banks will take the opposite side and they'll buy. You know, they're probably going to buy anyway, but it helps if these guys are selling because it gives a little bit extra liquidity and it pushes price because of stops and things like that. So the VIX is below the 26.5. Now that's important because that's the midpoint between the low and the high of the year. So 26.5 is like a pivot and we're below. So keep an eye on 26.5. We might go above. We are close. Yields rose, and that's quite risk off. We're very high. See how we're high at the short term and we're low-ish at the long term. So the 6 month is yielding more than the 30 year. So this is risk off. Okay. So I don't know if these are going to fall. Maybe FOMC. I think all eyes on the press conference, because Powell might hint at like a pivot and he might indicate maybe a little bit less aggression on the rate hikes. If so, then that's going to be quite risk on, and then these can fall. So iron is, shall I say, on the press conference on Wednesday, not necessarily the FOMC interest rate decision, but the press conference after, because that's going to be really important. So this is risk off, but I think after Wednesday, these might fall. Okay. So they've shorted indices, as we can see by the greens. So they shorted France, US 500. They shorted oil. They shorted the US 30, and they went long pound yen. They're long EJ and they're long AJ. Okay. And iron AU and NU today because they're trying to combat the USD strength. Over a week, the pound is the strongest. They're 1.86. So over a week, the pound USD is the strongest currency pair, or the pound is the strongest currency pair versus the USD, and the weakest is the dollar yen, which is interesting. So they are trying to buy the dips, as we were told last week. That we saw that on the indicators on FX SSI indicators. We saw them trying to buy the dips. And you'll need to subscribe if you want to see the trade of the day. In fact, we've got two trades almost. We've got one from the currency pair itself, and then we've got one from the bubbles. So we've got two trades of the day, but I don't know if we're going to make this trades of the day or just keep it as trade of the day, a singular. So we've got one from the largest mover on the currency pair, and we've got one from the deviation between the bubbles. So that's the trade of the day. But alternative, we have something else that we could potentially trade, and it's the currency pair itself. So that's in the Australian dollar section in Discord. So might be a good profitable trade there. There's some tiers that if you want to join, you're more than welcome. And there's the link for Patreon, Telegram, Discord. And see, I was wondering whether or not this is quite important, this arrow. If we like a double top here, we might just be range bound until the FOMC, so I'm thinking maybe. But I'll do a quick 2-minute video after this bulletin if I don't get cut off by the internet, and we can see what's happening here. We might just be this might just be like a fake thing, because at the big picture we are buy. See, we're green on the S&P, so I'd be surprised to see this fall. But it might just want to get some more shorts involved, and then, you know, we can rally, maybe. So they did sell it, and there was a big move on that hour, very painful, lots of movement, indecision, and rallied. Then we dumped, and then we we rallied the next hour, and then the next hour we pretty much rocketed. Really, we've got a potential sell coming up, which we can cover in the Discord in the private channel. Might be making a sell potentially, and likewise for the US 30, and see how we flipped on the sentiment. Like I said at the very top of the video, we had the heads up on that because our risk calculation went below zero to tell us that they're net short. If the crowd are net short, we should be taking the other side of that trade. We should be long when they're short. Okay, so it's really simple, and you would have made a ton of money had you called it. I didn't catch it because I was worried about the chop, because we did this, then we did that. I wasn't sure if we were going to do it again, but I think as long as you know your exit, then you could have done pretty well. There's a massive trade opportunity there, and that could have been by a dip. DAX was very choppy, and so I was unsure about that as well, but this is making a buy, okay? So they're selling it against the 21 moving average, so got to be careful. It looks a little bit overextended, but it's only an hourly chart. If you look at the daily, it might look better. Gold now is a double bottom here. This didn't really come out very well. It's not a bit obscured, the arrow, but we've got some support, and they sold it here, which I guess they're probably anticipating the break, or they just sold it without looking at technicals. There's a possibility they're just opening their mobile phone and they're just selling it because it's just random, isn't it? They could be looking at technicals, or they might not. I don't know what they're doing, but they might be anticipating that break, and if so, they shorted it too early potentially. But we'll cover this in the private feed. And they took stop loss clusters both sides at AU above and below last week, and they're probably going to do it again. Note where the Euro USD is. Right, no imagination whatsoever. Right, we'll put our stops at 1, and then we'll see what happens. And then I can move my stop if it gets close. That's probably what they're going to do. They've been quite lazy. Stops are there, that'd be fine, and then they're going to adjust stops as price gets closer. And so yeah, and keep an eye on things that are matching as well. So EU is matching for a sell, so be careful. Yeah, largest stop loss class is AU, and note the size of quite similar. There's 100 pips between the two, so there's definitely a good chance of both of them getting raided this week, and they're going to use the FOMC as an excuse. And if the FOMC doesn't do it, NFP will. Swiss is currently paying the retail guys, and Kiwi is destroying the retail guys. That's got a perfect score in so much they shorted it and price has gone up. So that would be normal, okay? And that's that. No trade of the day, Friday, due to uncertainty, and we start a new week now, and we have to wait and see what happens. It's going to be a little bit uncertain this week because of the FOMC and NFP. We've got the BOE as well on Thursday, so be careful with the pound on Thursday. It's going to be a bit of a roller coaster. And so what's happening is that the bubbles have agreed for a dollar Swiss buy. It's technically a strong buy, and the actual pair itself they shorted. So it's like tick, 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 tick. So you probably want to try and get a decent entry. Have we raided stops already? Yes, we had. We'd taken the stop loss cluster above while I was making this bulletin. So this is why this is important. And then you can see where to target. Right? Have we taken that stop loss cluster out? I think we have. So if they've taken liquidity, could it just be job done for the day? And we've already gone up to take those stops. So you do want to get a copy of the MetaTrader 4 FX as SI indicators. They're really, really good. We can quickly look at it quickly. Oh yeah, so there's the stop loss cluster. Right, so it's at parity, just like EU. Right, so that's how you use it, and you would have got that notification. If you're a Quasidb subscriber, you would have got that, you know, a couple of hours ago. Yeah, you could have made like 40 pips on that. It's still going, and now we're breaching parity. So that's a good demonstration, and you would have seen that, you know, a few hours ago. You know, maybe even 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. You could have got quite a lot of profit on that move. So that's that. And economic calendar. So we got GDP, inflation rate, and we got some Aussie data out as well. So that might be a big mover. It's quite good because it's above 50. That's like the bull bear figure. We don't want it below 50 because it's like a recession worry. And so that's that. So hopefully it's a good demonstration how to use the data. See, dollar Swiss was pretty good, and it also was a good one for general risk appetite as well, because you see how you know, we flipped on the risk calculation and we absolutely soared. So pretty decent analysis. Hope you like it. Hope it proved useful. If you want to subscribe, it's just the patreon.com Quasidb, and you get all of this for the Bulletin access, which is £8 a month, which is pretty affordable, and you get the trade of the day as well. Have a good day, and I'll speak to you guys soon.